This is Sound Design 7.1, which falls under the category of sampling, although we're going to do some manipulation to the original samples that gets away from the original idea of sampling, which was to take a sound, record it, and trigger it from a keyboard. So, for example, in this case, we've got a nice sample set of a Steinway grand piano. And this we've got in the EXS 24 sampler instrument inside Logic. It's a really nice sample. It's a pretty convincing piano sound. But what we're going to do is kind of mess it up. We're going to take it away from that and instead use it as the raw material from which we're going to build something a bit different. It doesn't take long before you start to hear some real differences, even just messing with the envelope a little bit. This envelope 2 over in the bottom right hand corner is actually the amplitude envelope. See amplitude right next to there. So even just adding a little bit of attack to the piano really takes it away from the percussion instrument that it really is. Just that alone creates an interesting effect. We could bring up sustain, although unless the samples have been programmed with a loop point, the sustain's really not going to do us much good. So I'm going to leave that down, maybe bring up a little bit of release here. So even without, I'm not going to hold the sustain pedal down this time. So there's still that piano quality in there, but it's definitely getting farther and away from the actual piano sound. So let's dig into the filter a little bit, see if there's some damage that we could do here. Let's try putting some cutoff filter, bring the cutoff filter down to darken the sound a little bit, maybe add a little bit of resonance. Now where it currently is, we're not going to hear much happening. There's a little bit, but we notice over here in the modulation matrix that the filter cutoff is being influenced by the velocity. So this is going to kind of override what we're doing here. So you'll notice the little BP in the corner. Whoops, clicked in the wrong place. Little BP in the corner is going to bypass that modulation control. So now we should have a little bit more flexibility. Nice. Let's use our modulation matrix now and take the envelope as our source. Let's use envelope 1 this time and have this control the filter cutoff and see if we can get some nice shaping going there. So a little bit of a attack, a bit of a decay. Really getting farther and farther away from the sound of a piano, but still very organic in nature. Nice texture. This fat control, by the way, restores any low end that might have been lost using the low pass filter. Definitely brings back some bottom. Nice. A little bit of overdrive. Vibrato would be something unusual for a piano. So let's go here and tell it that we want to alter the pitch slightly with our LFO1, and just going to choose the triangle wave setting here, add a little bit. Now, what would be interesting is if we delayed the onset of that a little bit. So let me turn this to the right. That's going to introduce a delay. To hear that coming in more gradually. Very cool. Let's try taking that same envelope 1 shape and have it also affect the resonance and see what that does. So filter resonance. Starting to sound a little strange, I admit, but it gives you some ideas of the type of manipulations you can perform on a sound like a piano and make it sound entirely different, yet still maintaining some of that original organic quality, which can really be interesting and deceiving in a creative way with your listeners.